Welcome, everyone. My name is Anne-Maria. I am your co-pilot today, and we are, I think, 2 hours, 3 hours in our 24 hours long learning festival around the world. We have gathered over 40 top experts in facilitation, learning, collaboration, community, innovation, startups, all the good stuff. And we are throwing this big party because we just launched our Butter Baby product, Butter Scenes on Product Hunt. I'll pop a link in the chat if you want to show us some love. We are recording the sessions, and if it feels safer or better for you, feel free to keep your camera off. Otherwise, please keep it on so we can keep the body going. Leading the session today is a fantastic facilitator. I'm sure you are somehow following her, whether on LinkedIn, Instagram, and she's up to some interesting stuff. I will tell you a bit about that as well, looking towards 2025. Kirsty Lewis is with us today, and I'm missing the reactions, but like, woohoo!
Oh, you want your butter reactions? We'll get them going in a minute. Hey, everybody, how you doing? Good to see so many familiar faces. I can't speak at the moment. My name is Kirsty, founder of School of Facilitation, and today I'm going to talk with you about 10 lessons I've learned about running my own business, which I've done since 2008, and School of Facilitation has been going since 2014. So we are exactly 10 years old this year. So that's the first bit about running this morning session. But the second bit is to show you behind the scenes of butter scenes. So what you're going to see is I just had a play with their system over the weekend to write my presentation. Which many of you who know me well, I don't normally write presentations, but it's super interactive. I have left it in its raw form, so you'll see where I've used the AI, the quirkiness that comes up. There's going to be interaction, there's going to be some activities. I also really encourage everyone to chat. So if you've ever been part of a School of Facilitation event online, please chat in the chat, come off mute, ask the questions, do all the do's. I'm actually seeking permission straight off as Anna-Maria and I play with behind the scenes and butter, the butter behind butter scenes. We're just sort of seeing how it flows because it's all new technology. So just give me, if you're on camera, give me a sort of a thumbs up emoji, whatever it is that you're with us and you're up for a bit of a play. Thanks, team. Okay, so let's go and share the screen. So I'm going to encourage you to join. So I'm hoping you can see either the code or the QR code. So can I just, first things first, if you're not already in the back office or in the scenes with me, come join.
I'll pop the link in the chat as well. Thank you.
I'm just going to take that off. And if you happen to be here, hello, this is groovy. So what you'll see on your screen, but also if you're in scenes with me, you'll see 5 pictures. And I'm just really curious, what brings you here today? Is it you want to get some engagement with other people? Top left. Is it you want to get some energy or celebrate something that's going on in your business? The lady, top right. Are you here for a bit of a think about what you're doing in your business? Do you want to check in on what are you doing already and just sort of assess, oh, am I going in the right direction? Or is it something else, which is the blank post-it? So this is one of the great tools of Butter Scenes is a pin. So what you can do right now is hover your mouse, I understand, and just click. And we're going to just get a sense check of where everybody in the room is and why you're here.
Phil says all of them, a bit of everything on the menu.
Of course, Phil.
I'll do a taster.
Nice. So we've got a mix of people wanting some just connection. We've got quite a few people here to have a think, and then some others. So the invitation is to write in the chat of Zoom what it is if you are coming here to have a think, or you're coming here to for other reasons. What are they? I'm just really curious because I'm being just super nosy at this point. So drop into the chat. Why are you here? What do you want? Said, connect with like-minded, the curious for new ideas and perspectives. Thanks, Mona, to learn from you. Just love the connection. Curious to know more, Nicole. Okay, so there's a lot of connecting, some new perspectives. I just want to connect. Irene, thank you, lovely. I was introduced to butter by Kirsty, so I'm just curious about what it is. Great. Okie dokie. So as I said, I started SOF 10 years ago. And the reason I started School of Facilitation, I talk about this quite openly, is I realized, having done 5 years of working for myself, we call it as an associate in the UK, some of you call it subcontractor. So I was working in other agencies. I was sort of missing my people. Like, I didn't know where other facilitators, trainers, coaches were hanging out. I had a group, but I didn't have lots. And we're talking 2014, and I started in 2008. So let's just be really clear about social media at that point, team. Facebook started in 2007. Instagram, I think, only started in, actually, when did Instagram start? Anyone know? 2010, 2012? It wasn't what it was today. Yes, I was on LinkedIn, but it wasn't the same beast that it is today. So basically, there wasn't those natural points of connection. So I was like, okay, I want to go and find people. And the only community that I knew of at that time, and I'm going to name it, is the IAF, the International Association of Facilitators. So in Kirsty style, I reached out to them, heard nothing. Silence, cricket, tumbleweed. So I was just a bit like, right, I've got to do something about this. So I started hosting events in London in 2014 and created School of Facilitation. But in that time, I've learned quite a few things. So I want to share what I've learned, because I think it's really important to be able to learn from others and either replicate, but do it in your way, not make the same mistakes they did, because you can always learn those, but also share what it is you know and what it is that works for you. Okay, so playing with this 10 lessons that I've learned. So I just found this photograph. This is my dad. And I was looking for a photo of me and my dad, and I've just realized, actually, this is a photo taken in January 2014 in France, in Morzine. And this is my 40th birthday party. And the reason this is important is for two things. My dad said to me once, when I was choosing my A-levels, and A-levels in the UK are the exams you take when you're 18. And I had chosen physics, chemistry, and geography. Now, of those three, which one do you think I really loved? And which one do you think was blowing my brain up? For those of you who know me. So I'd chosen those three. And my dad said to me at the time, don't do physics. Don't do physics. It's not your thing. Do French. And at that point in time, like, I was 16, wasn't getting on really well with dad. So guess what? I ignored him and chose to do something that was super hard, which was physics, when actually I was really quite fluent in French and I could have done my French. And what I then went on to learn is do what you find easy and lean into it. So I ended up studying geography at university, and everyone was like, oh, you're gonna be a teacher. It's like, no, I just really enjoy it. And then whenever I got jobs, I just followed the path of what I enjoyed, but I didn't realize that at the time. And whenever I did a job that I didn't enjoy, oh my God, it was painful. And the same is true when we facilitate and when we train and we take on gigs with our clients. Have you ever taken on a piece of work because I fear I'm not going to get any money, my diary's too quiet, and you take on a piece of work and then it's like, oh my God, client from hell, subject I'm not really know much about, but I can work it out. And then it turns into a very painful, slow process. So what I really want to encourage you from lesson 1 is do the things that you find easy. Find that sweet spot and that niche. And I do call it a niche, because the thing that you find super easy, others do not. So let's be really clear. I find it super easy to look at someone's workshop flow and help them sharpen it up. I do not find it easy to look at a P&L and a balance sheet and tell you where I'm going horribly wrong. So that's why I pay for an accountant. That's why I pay for coaching with a CFO. I am crap at building websites, so I don't do it. Yes, some of you will be going, oh, that's really easy though. I know how to do that. Or I can whip something up in Canva. And what I just want to encourage you to think about is, what are the things you find super easy, whether that's in the facilitation training space that you play in, and also running your business. There are going to be things in there that you can just do that others cannot. So I just want you to think, right, what do I find super easy in my business? And what are those things I can do? So if you want to just throw into the chat, what are the things you find super easy? That would be amazing to hear and see. What do you find super easy that others might think, well, that's a bit weird? And it can be as simple as, I know how to peel a post-it note without making it curl. The connection with people. Oh, so I have you down as the geek for sure. The geeky stuff. Yeah. Thinking commercially, Nicole. I love it. I make presentations look good, said Mona. Yeah, the story time with a smile or a tear. Oh, Irene, beautiful. Endro, lovely. I find it really easiest to tangle client situations. Exactly. Look, you've all got these things that you find super easy. So I want to really encourage you to lean into those versus shy away from them. And we'll talk a bit more in a moment about what to do with the things we're not too sure about. Lesson number 2, sort your shit out. So this is my very unpolitical, uncouth phrase, which basically says you need to sort out what is going on inside your head, because if you don't, it's going to come back and bite you on the bottom. So what I mean when it's sort your shit out is go to therapy, get a supervisor, find someone who does this and maybe can give it to you for free, but work with you. Because as you go into the freelance world, run your own business, your limiting beliefs, your fears, your worries will all be amplified. Absolutely, I can see the nodding on those who've got their cameras on, and I don't know whether those of you who haven't got your cameras on are nodding as well or smiling. Because guess what? Suddenly you feel like you're in the spotlight and that clients are buying brand Kirsty, brand Nathy, brand Joanna, brand Laurence. It's like they're not, they're buying your skills, they're buying your business. However, because you're so used to working maybe in an organization, stepping out, becoming vulnerable, doing your own thing is just so new. And therefore it's really natural that you see it personally first. So I cannot encourage you enough to do the inner work, as we call it. Otherwise it will start leaking and it shows up in how you make decisions. So for me, one of my big limiting beliefs is no one will come. I am unworthy, so no one will come. And how this translated out, especially in the early years, and some of you know me are laughing, before the world of Stripe and PayPal existed, you had to send invoices to people to get payment. So I would run a lot of open workshops and people would sign up, they say they'd come. I did not invoice them until after the event. That's ridiculous. My cash flow is whacked. I'd be paying for venues and lunches out of my own pocket before the money came in. So that limiting belief of I'm not worthy, i.e. no one will come, then impacted my business. Now that's changed because beautiful Stripe has arrived and people like to buy things on a website. So that sort of took that out of my hands. But just notice, what are some of your limiting beliefs that may be starting to then show up in how? Yeah, it's like, I don't want to bother people with payment. I hear you, but we need it because our money is energy that allows us to do what we do. So have a think, like, what are some of those things? So please sort your shit out. So had a bit of a play here on the visual with the AI tool, which is in Butter, which I love, by the way. So when you're loading up imagery, you can either, I just want to talk to this as an aside rather than lesson 3, you can either upload a picture of your own, they've also got a connection point where you go to the internet and it's Unsplash, so you can search for the free imagery there. Or you can ask AI, which is brilliant, to create you a picture. So I asked it to create me a picture of books with growth and development written on them. So you can see some of it it's got and some of it hasn't. I thought I'd just put that as an aside. So lesson 3 I've had is keep learning. I want to encourage you as you evolve, grow, develop yourself and your business, please keep learning, whether that's diving deeper into your area of experience and passion as a facilitator and trainer, or whether that is learning to run a business. Because let's be honest, quick show of hands, either in voting or in the chat, how many of you started what you started to run a business? Johnny's like, How many of you started what you started because you have a big passion for facilitation or training or leadership or geeking side? Exactly. That's why I left a big corporate. And we have to learn to run businesses. So if I can just encourage you to carry on your learning. Bill, is your hand raised for a question or is it raised to say hello? You are welcome to chat. Otherwise, this is feeling quite strange that I'm doing all the talking. Yeah, Charlotte, I started for passion and freedom. Joanna, I began and learned how as a volunteer. Yeah. So keep learning is lesson number 3. Okay, lesson number 4. Oh yeah, let's do this. This is me and Anna Marie playing, I was playing this with Cheska. So I just wanted to show another tool that sits within Butter Scenes, and this is different ways to do a brainstorm. So this is a free flow and the next slide is a structure. So if you can come back into the back office, I'm going to encourage you to do that. So what different types of learning have you taken to grow yourself, your practice, or your business? So what you do is you come in, you click, and you can write into a post-it note. And then I'm just going to encourage you to spread your post-it notes out. Is that possible? So a community of practice. Thank you. Now, if you see you're overlapping with someone, I cannot move your post-it notes, only you can. So a bit of dragging and dropping. Lovely. I took a coaching qualification. I took a sales facilitator course, done training with different facilitators. I watch others do it. Great. I've got a business coach, love it. Podcast, newsletters, various trainings, studied NLP, action learning. I took a facilitator course. I've joined lots of communities. I love that. Okay. So at this point, I don't think you can see what's going up on the screen, can you? You can see what's going up on the screen? Oh, sweet. Love it. So what I'd love you to take from this, 2 things. There are many different ways that you can develop yourself and learn, as you can see here. There's the free options of podcasts and newsletters. There's books, there's courses you can take. And also the second thing I want you to take is, this is one of the tools within Butter Scenes, which I think is fantastic, which is an unstructured brainstorm. So that's quite cool. I just want to show you as well, this is the structured brainstorm. So for those of you who like to do things or see things, how it plays out, this is where I might have added in your business, and you then brainstorm against and just write in. But for me, it felt too structured. I'm a bit more free flowing, but I just wanted you to be able to see the different versions. Oh my God, you're all going for it. I love this. And for those of you who've not really played with butter before, and I know there are some of you in the room, if you go to the bottom of the screen, there's lots of emojis that you can play with. Yeah, trying this out. Easier to read. It's too early for this. Andrew, where are you? It's pretty funky. Yeah, love it. Cool. Delicious, organized, nice. So for those of you who have that sort of logical, organized brain, you're going to love this version. I am the unstructured type of gal. So I just think what's good to know is there's different options here and different ways that we can do it. Okay, are we good to move on to lesson number 5? Give me a thumbs up. Love that. Okay. Pay yourself first. Please pay yourself, because no one else is going to pay you. This goes back to, I will be really honest and share with you, when I first started working for myself in 2008, I'd left the corporate world of Guinness, Diageo, Johnny Walker. Some of you may know those alcoholic brands. And I'd lived in their duvet. I'd been cosseted. I had had my monthly salary. There was that unhelpful help desk of IT. There were bosses. There were big systems and processes. And so you go out on your own. And I remember writing to the accountant going, "When can I pay myself?" And he just wrote back, he's this big Irish guy, and he said, "You pay yourself whenever you want, Kirsty. You make the rules." So you don't know what you don't know when you first leave a business, which I think is fascinating. The other thing that does happen, and I've just read it in a WhatsApp group, someone was saying, you know, I'm the first person that doesn't get paid if a client pays late, and they will pay their associates before they pay themselves. So, and I'm not saying that's right, I'm not saying that's wrong, it's just something to be aware of, but it's very easy to not pay ourselves because we're paying for everything else. And I just want to encourage you to really think about it, like how do you look at money in your business and in the system? How do you know how much money you've got to play with? Do you run, how many different accounts have you got? How friendly are you with your P&L? How many of you have gone into Xero or QuickBooks or Free Agent or the electronic, and I'm hoping as many of you as possible are using electronic invoicing systems, because there's a lot of free ones out there. Yeah, Heidi's, thank you, thumbs up. So in those electronic invoicing systems, and accounting systems, there's preset reports, and you can have a look at them, you can set things up. If you're only ever with one bank account, can I encourage you to at least move to 2 bank accounts so that you're accruing tax into one, because the tax is not your money. So in the UK, we have the language of tax of VAT, value added tax. There'll be equivalents all globally for that as well. That is not your money. It's a great place to save your personal tax if you're a sole trader, and whatever the equivalent is wherever you are in the world. It helps you like pull your pot of money apart. We actually have 5 different pots in our business so that we can really clearly see what we have available. So we have a tax pot, we have an operating account, we have my pay, we have associate pay, and we have a tiny little profit account. So every time we take an invoice, we take like 1% as profit, and that's like a treat account. And then we can see what is available to us. So exactly, all of you are going to have different kinds of ways of operating in each of your countries, which I, as I said earlier at the beginning, money and accounting is not my forte, so I can't even comment on half of that. But you'll know what's right for you. But please pay yourself first. Otherwise, you can't operate. You can't live, as someone has said, you can't run. Okay, lesson number 5. Oh, this is about selling. So I'd like you to come back in. This is a poll feature that sits in Butterscenes. I'm curious, what is your relationship to selling your services? So you've got 5 options. I'd rather stick pins in my eyes. I find it really hard. I'm learning to talk about what I do. When I'm in the right mood, I can do it. I don't mind it, especially when I know what I'm talking about, or I love it. What is your relationship with selling what it is that you do? And I think you should be able to click. Does that work? If you're inside Butter Scenes, you should be able to click on your options.
If you click skip on your screen, Kirsty,
yeah,
you will see what's happening.
Thank you.
There we go.
I didn't know that. Oops.
Because you can vote too as well if you want to. That's like you can choose, can facilitate.
Oh, nice one. No. Okay. So what are we seeing here? There's a lot of us when we're in the right mood. Yeah, I don't mind it, especially when I know what I'm talking about. There's a few of you who absolutely love it. And there's a few of us who would rather stick pins in our eyes. And then there's the rest in between. We have to learn to sell. We really, really do. We have to learn to get comfortable with selling and describing what it is we do. And that's a whole other genre. But one of the things I have learned over time is my network is my net worth. And all my clients, whether they are B2B, business to business, or business to consumer, come through my network, come through LinkedIn or come through Instagram, and referrals. So one of the things I wanted to encourage you by way of lesson 5 is to start thinking about who are you working with right now? And would you say they're in your immediate, what I call the inner circle, or are they in sort of a secondary circle or a third circle out? Or, and how are you nurturing those people that you work with? How do you nurture your network? So it's something to consider. Yes, you could just go for numbers on the social media. Yes, you could just go, right, I'm just going to increase my followers on Instagram, or I'm going to go out and just target lots of people on LinkedIn. But I just feel like if you're doing it with, what's the word I want, indiscriminately, you're not going to get to the people you'd like to work with. So it is okay to spend some time going, who's my perfect client? Like, who would I really like to work with? Again, this picture was generated from the awesome AI tool within Butter Scenes. So I asked it to find something around network and net worth, it being in balance and all about money. So I haven't heard from any of you yet, and I'm getting a little bit bored of my voice. So it would be really good. Let's have some voices in the room. How do you find your clients at this time? What are you noticing? And if you want to talk, you are very welcome, or write your thoughts in the chat box. Teresa, awesome word of mouth.
Hey, Kirsty.
Hey.
I was just going to say, like, this week I've just done a piece of work for a hospital trust where the person running the event attended a piece of work I did last year, liked it, got in touch and said, it was funny actually, in the design process, they were like, oh, we want to cover this, this and this. And I came up with some ideas and they were like, yeah, can you do what you did at the last event? I saw you. So I sort of had to repeat lots of the same things I did at a previous event because they liked it. So yeah, the design process was really easy.
I like that. How do other people find clients? What are they noticing?
I would say hi, Kirsty.
Hey, Nathy.
Hi. I would say I contact a lot of my clients that I have already when at certain time, for example, for the end of the years when I know it's time for retrospectives. So I'm talking in my network. Also recommendation, when you are good at what you are, you can also ask your your own clients to tell you, oh, if you know someone who would need some support with their team, don't hesitate to send them to me. And this is for the B2B clients.
Yeah.
For the B2C, it's more LinkedIn and the podcast. So I built this channel to just in a scene of giving to people, but also they are coming with the time, they are coming to.
Yeah, nice. So by the looks of things, a lot of people in here, it's word of mouth. It's, as you say, Nappy, through things that we're doing on LinkedIn or Instagram. So I'm just going to call Charlotte. I just want to say, like, I hear what you're saying. Like, I've heard you're not a real business until you land a client that isn't a referral. I think that diminishes what you're doing already. Of course, you're a real business. Like, even if it's with people that you know, or it's people you've worked with in the past, you're still running a business. Please don't let others be that great. I agree. Good. Because that, I guess that's a lesson I haven't put on there, and I didn't do this for many years. I didn't believe I was a business when I first started. I was like, oh, it's just me. I'm a freelancer. I'm an associate. I'm working for other people. So I didn't come in with a business mentality. I think if I was to go back, I'd be telling myself very early on, no, you are running a business. It's a micro business. It's a baby business. It's a small business. And that is okay. Okay, right. Lesson 6. Let's keep going. Selling is all about the relationships. So I think we've ascertained that through the conversations we're having, like your network is your net worth, and also selling is about relationships. It's about people. It isn't about necessarily doing a hard sell. In the world, when I started out as a graduate, I wanted to work in marketing because I thought it was sexy and glamorous. And for whatever reason, I ended up in sales and I was mortified. But what I forgot is I was in the world of sales that was all alcohol. So everybody loved it. Everybody wanted to buy a Guinness, wanted Smirnoff Ice, wanted Johnny Walker. And when I was going in to have conversations, I was working, they were called regional brewers in the UK. They were the old craft and ale breweries. But it was about the relationships and it was about people. And the brands were secondary. And I think that is still true now. So it is about the relationship. It's understanding what our clients need and want. It isn't about us going in and doing a hard sell on a product or a way of working or the consultancy that we can offer. So we just need to be great at asking questions and listening. Pretty sure facilitators can do that brilliantly. So you just need to transfer that into one-to-one conversations. So selling is about the relationship. That's what I'm going to say. Lesson number 7. Listen to your body. Oh, man alive. So your bodies are your instrument. Your bodies are basically, if you can't function, you cannot run your business. So recently, in the last 2 weeks, I lost my voice for 7 days. And it wasn't because I was over speaking, I was shouting, I'd been to a concert, I'd been doing loads of delivery. I just got sick and I lost it 7 days. And in the build up to that, losing the voice on a Friday, I had been getting croaky, I had been feeling ill, but I carried on working in very typical solopreneur style. We sort of go, got to carry on, we've got clients to look after. But then my body just decided, no, you are not even going to be able to whisper. So I had to ask for help. I had to take it out into the community. I had some projects that needed delivering the following week. And so I just want to encourage you as you go about your day, listen to your body, especially if you're starting to get sick. That's one thing, because you can do something about it. You can take various either medication or honey, lemon and ginger is a good go-to in all given situations, I swear. But also listen to your body when you're facilitating training and coaching, because it's an instrument. It gives you so much information. Yeah, a Balinese massage. Oh, Nathy, I think we'd all love one of those right now, especially with a bit of sunshine and heat for us in the Northern Hemisphere. Listening to your body as an instrument of information. When you're facilitating at the front of the room, you'll be able to sense the energy quicker. There's other things I'd say about your body, like when you're making business decisions, like listen to your voice, like where do you get like vibrations? Do you get excitement feelings in your tummy? Alina, I can see you nodding in the bottom of my screen. It's like you've got that experience. There are so many different somatic practices now that we can incorporate into how we run our businesses to help us with our decision making. Your body will know before your brain does. Absolutely guarantee it. If anyone's got any practice with systemic constellations, that's a beautiful way to help make decisions. If you don't, but you've got a friend who does, ask them to help you. They'll be able to lead you through some really great activities to sense in and make meaning of what you're noticing at this time. So yeah, and to look after your body. So what do you put in it? What do you eat? What do you drink? Do you have the massages, as Nathy said? Do you take downtime? How do you look after yourself? So yeah, drink enough water. Thanks, Elka, for sure. So think about how you look. Yeah, Endro, I think that happens as on an age thing. Endro just said in the chat, who needs 2 days rest after an intensive 1-day facilitation session? I'd just like to say there's going to be some of you here who are in your 30s and you're absolutely rocking it, and this is new to world. I used to be able to do 3-4 days back to back in a week. Absolutely no problem. I could be in America, I could be in Europe, I could have flown. I hit 50 this year and now I'm like, oh yeah, no, 2 days is enough for me, and then I need a really good night's sleep. So I just want to share with those who are behind me in this journey, as you get older, you've got to factor in some rest time, or a day at your desk after lots of delivery. And yeah, I'm too old for this. Yeah, Maxine, I love that. Yoga helps to recalibrate my brain and my body. Thanks, Alina. I'll take the compliment. I do play to the audience. Okay, let's go to lesson 8, 9, and 10. Oh, look, it's all about rest. Again, some of you are going to love this, and others of you are going to be like, oh, but I need to be, if I'm not doing, I'm not productive. What value am I in this world? We need rest, and it's more than a good night's sleep. So as a human being, I need rest to survive, thrive, and revive. And I know, you know, the quality of your rest will totally impact your overall health and well-being. Now, you may have come across the writings of Dr. Sandra Dalton-Smith, and she talks about that there are 7 different types of rest. So I just want to headline what these rests are, and then I'm just going to be curious to hear what is yours. So we've got the koala bear. It's all about physical rest, so sleep, slowing down. We've got the journal. This is emotional rest, so being able to regulate our emotions, journal in a book, take time. We've got spiritual rest, so we can use things like yoga, meditation, clearing our spaces. Bottom left, we've got a cloud representing sensory rest. So how do you totally zone out? How do you like move away from all the distractions, all the noise, especially social media, I think, in this day and age? So, you know, have a bath, stare at the clouds, go quiet. You've got creative rest here. So in the doing, you can be creative. You can be making something, painting, sewing, I don't know, vision boarding. There'll be lots of different creative rests. That's my least preferred one, so that's why I'm really rubbish at describing it. These 2 guys here, this is all about emotional rest. So, you know, being able to just chat with a trusted friend, being outside in nature, avoiding stress. And then we have here the family, which is all about social rest. So this is like being with others, being with our family, but taking some downtime. So the invitation is, if you're with me in the back in Butter, come and add a pin. Which type of rest are you drawn to at this time? Which one talks to you? Lovely. Well, I'm also liking, just as an aside about the Butter thing, because originally I was like, oh, I'm just looking at the dots as a visual number. But actually, I've just suddenly realized in the bottom right-hand corner of every single photograph is a pin, and it's got a number against it. So as the facilitator, you can see quickly what the votes are. That's quite good, actually. I like that. So a lot of you are sort of seeking the rest where it's that sensory rest. It's like checking out, like going inwards, downtime. I think that's brilliant. So having a think, how do you acknowledge that rest is really important, and how do you weave it into your day, your week, your month? I think I play a lot of sport and I will train every day, but I've also now learned that you need a rest day. You can't keep going. So having rest is equally important to my training, because if I don't rest, my body can't recover and then it can't go again. And I think the same is true for us as the facilitators and trainers. So how are you building in rest days? Even in a year, like who started to plan their 2025? Who has marked holidays? Even if you've got no work, I want you to mark. Heidi, love it. So have I, actually. I've just stuck in a load of skiing trips because that's my thing. And that's my active physical rest. So I just want to encourage us all to add in some of our holidays, a really simple thing you can do for yourself. Okay, final couple of lessons. Outsource. Okay, just want to draw your attention to the picture. I asked AI again, please, can you write me a checklist, which it did. And I told it what I wanted to write in the checklist: accountant, lawyer, marketing support, social media. Bless it. It sort of got the brief on checklist and the visual, but the spelling. But it made me chuckle, so I left it in because I want you to see what is possible. I think outsourcing is really important. And so we started at the beginning by saying lean into what it is you're good at. I'd also say lean out away from what you're not good at, because you can spend hours of time, emotions, frustration, building the website, sorting out accountancy. Now, to begin with, some of us, I think all of us should touch in on these things so we can learn it, so that if you're then briefing someone to do that work for you, but don't be afraid to outsource when you need to. So I just said from the off, I'm not going to do my end of year books, so I'm going to get an accountant to help me. And I saved up and I would pay for an accountant each year, because it's just not my bag. And I didn't have anyone in my family who was an accountant. Does SoFest count as a holiday? Yes, it does, Peter Boyd, because you're coming from Australia to join us, and I'm very excited. We'll come to SoFest in a moment. Outsource, please. So let's take SoFest. I'm running a festival for 3 days next year. I've never run a festival before. I'm great at the ideas. So I've got a project manager. Guess what her full-time job is? Running festivals. So I sort of lean into people and their skill sets. I needed a spreadsheet creating for SoFest because we've got variable costs and we've got fixed costs, and I couldn't work out how to then represent it against ticket sales. So I just put an ask out into the community. Next minute, Murray comes in, tells me that he's very happy to create me a spreadsheet, and off he trots. So I want to encourage you to outsource. Now, some of the things you might outsource from the beginning: finance, bookkeeping, social media, some of the techie stuff, if that's not your bag, setting up newsletters, graphic design. I'd just say, actually in the chat, write down, if you have outsourced, what have you outsourced? Podcast editing, absolutely nothing. No way I'm going to do that. gives you back like 3 days of your life. Exactly, Joe. And your tax return, video editing, Heidi, I hear you. Social media, for sure. Research, photography, yes. Taxes, note-taking, ooh. Videographer, researching, bookkeeping, exactly. Branding, data analysis. Now, one of the things I have learned though, team, you still have to have an awareness of all these things. You can't just hand them off to someone and expect them to do what you want them to do. I made that mistake a few times. I was like, well, it's really obvious what I need from you, and you're part of the team now. It's all going to be great. They did the job, but it wasn't brilliant. So what I want you to encourage you to think of is you then become a manager or a leader. And so you still need to be in contact with those people. You still need to talk to them and brief them and talk to them, like whether that's weekly, monthly, quarterly. Factor that in. Please don't just think, oh, thank God for that. I've stepped away from the finances. Someone else is doing it. I don't need to look at it anymore. You do. Because if you don't, it's going to come back and bite you very, very hard. Okay, final lesson that I'd like to share with you. Consistency is key. Consistency is key. So one of the things, and I saw something about this the other day, I should have written it down. Some people think, you know, you hear the experts, the influencers saying, oh, follow my way of working and you can make 6 figures in 3 months. That's a whole other conversation we can have, and I can see lots of smiling faces around the room and grimaces. It is not true. You need to be consistent though. There is this piece that when I first started those gatherings I mentioned at the very beginning, when I was doing those breakfast meetings, I would run them inconsistently, so there was never a rhythm. And then sometimes I'd have 15 people, 20 people, and then other times I'd have 2 or 3. I still ran them when I had 2 or 3 people. Because in my head, I was practicing for what was to potentially come. I didn't know what was going to come, but it just felt right that I honored those 2 or 3 people that wanted to be there and to join me. Then it became, I was like, okay, because I'm the very haphazard person. I was like, okay, maybe if you like have it as a consistent every 2 months, every 3 months for these in person. And that I realized suddenly helped people. At the same time, in 2017, I started to write a monthly newsletter, and that just really built some practice. And at the beginning, we had maybe 10 people on that newsletter list. We've now got 2,500, but it's consistency. It's like every month I did it. Sometimes I actually hated it, and other months I now just can write things without sort of much effort. So, but the consistency has then enabled me to build a muscle, so I get to do things a lot more easily. It's also, if it's in the social media area, LinkedIn, Instagram, newsletters, it builds awareness. So that's all those things do. It's brand building, it's awareness building. So that when the time is right for your clients and they have a need, you are front of mind. They then go, oh, Kirsty, facilitation, School of Facilitation, or maybe we should have a chat to her about what it is she can do for our team. And the same will be true with whatever your area of awesomeness is. And I'm not saying you just got to be consistent in terms of social media. It's consistent in everything, whether it's looking at your, being brave and opening your banking apps, looking at your accountancy apps, whether it's having team meetings, even if that's just with yourself. Planning for the next quarter, reviewing the previous quarter. There is something about building some consistency into your way of working, because it will pay dividends and it just helps you get better at what you do, makes things easier. And also at the end of the day, it just makes you become bloody brilliant. So as we come to the end of our time and before Anna-Marie kicks me out, I just want to ask you, which of the 10 lessons would you say is your stretch for 2025? So one is do what you find easy. Actually, I'm just going to drop them back into the chat and so you can see them. I would be really curious to know which of these is your stretch for 2025. And just write maybe a number in the chat. Thank you, Andrew, Nathy, Bill. Awesome. I love that. So as we leave today, Anna-Marie's kindly put all my links in the chat. You would be so welcome to come join us. At SOF, we have a free Friday morning once a month. It's called The Pod. It's 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock UK. So you're very welcome to come hang out. Or if you just want to do the podcast, I've got to do some branding name changes. We also have a podcast like Nathy. We talk about running the business and what it's like as a business of businesses. But yeah, I love the fact that you were here. Thank you for giving yourself permission and the time to be part of this. I'd just like to thank Anna-Marie for co-hosting. Thanks, lovely. And to the Butter team for creating such new tech. That is definitely something I would encourage everyone to have a play with and an explore after today. But otherwise,
thank you so much,
have a good
Kirsty.
day.
This was great. Thanks for tuning in. It's so funny to see people jumping from session to session and being here with me. If you need some water, toilet, grab something to eat, do so. Kirsty, thank you very much.
My
This
pleasure.
was fantastic. I have 5 sticky notes with notes. I need to sort out a lot of shit. So thanks for that. Dropped all the good links in the chat, the workshops, the product hunt, how you can play with Butter Scenes is free, so feel free to use that. Enjoy the rest of the day and see you probably, hopefully, in all of the other sessions. Take care.
Bye.
Bye, friends.